Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about budgeting. I love budgeting. It has made such a big difference in our family's finances, my overall stress level, and I cannot wait to share my very simple but effective budgeting method with you. If you're new here, my name is Pam. I am a military spouse. We're here on Hawaii Island currently. We're getting ready to move, but I am just a stay-at-home mom slash jack of all trades, and I share all my projects and just what life is looking like right now on this channel, so hopefully you'll stick around. Today we're talking budgeting because I know that so many of my friends are looking into getting more comfortable with their finances this year, so I thought I would share how I go about it. It is not for everyone. I use a very simple Google Sheets spreadsheet. I have tried apps before and this is just what works for me, but maybe you'll take something from this video and apply it to your own method in a way that makes you feel comfortable. Okay, so without further ado, let's go over to my computer and we will go over some budgeting stuff. Okay, we're over here at my computer, and I did want to tell you I do have this template available on my website. It's $5 if you want to just download it and start using it, but don't feel like you have to do that. You can just watch this video, look at how I set mine up, and then make your own if that is something you're more comfortable with. But I did want to make it available for anybody who doesn't want to go through the trouble of trying to figure out all the formulas and all that. So I will put a link in my description box of how to get over to my website and find that template. And with that, let's go ahead and I'll show you around the template. Okay, so this is a sample version of my budget spreadsheet. Setting it up is very simple. You just go in and input all of your income sources, what you plan to receive that month, and then don't worry about the actual and the difference because that will auto-populate when you do your transactions. But you will go in and determine how much you want to put away for savings. All of your bills, these are bills that come out of my checking account, and their budgeted amounts. These are all fake numbers, by the way. And then all of your subscriptions. So these typically go on my credit card, but I put all of our subscriptions here, put in the budgeted amount, and sometimes it changes on you, so you have to be on top of it. And then everything else that goes on to my credit card. So any kind of spending, this is all Amazon purchases, groceries, gas, eating out, all those little things that change on a daily, weekly, monthly basis go into variable spending. And that's it. That's setting up the whole budget. And then I like to take it a step further and then break down my variable spending into weekly budgets. That's how I stay on track. So I link these cells. So let me see if I can get it all into one screen. So I link this cell with groceries, and let me show you kind of what it looks like if you kind of wanted to change things around. So if I take all that out, and I just do an equal sign, and I go here to groceries, and I do fuel. Maybe I don't want to do eating out. Then I'll do an equal sign and I'll just jump to miscellaneous. And then same thing with the actual numbers. I will just link it that way, and I will do fuel, and then I will do miscellaneous here. And then that way I'm only breaking down the categories that I want broken down. Like I'm not going to break down Netflix, Spotify, car insurance, because what's the point? That stuff never changes. I just want to break down areas where you typically go over budget. I'm going to get rid of all of that because I like to look at all of them. And so what this does is it pulls over that information from your original budget. But then these weekly budgets down here break down these numbers into 4 equal weekly budgets. Because I don't know why, but for some reason sticking to a monthly budget is just too big. That's too broad of a time period. I need something a lot more granular apparently, but I budget weekly because then I know when I go to the grocery store once, maybe twice a week, I know the number. I'm not looking at this big, huge monthly number. I'm looking at that specific week. And even if I go over, I'm like, ooh, okay, next week I need to kind of bring it under a little bit. So that's how I do it. And then this weekly, like I said, it does everything for you. This is all linked to this, so I don't have to change anything here. It automatically breaks everything down into weeklies. The only thing I need to do is then change this number because I budget my weeks according to my credit card statements. Put everything on my credit card and then I pay it off at the end of the month. My credit card statement dates are not the 1st through the 31st of every month. Mine actually go from like the 7th to the 7th. So I like to break this down because all of my February spending in my mind is not just happening in the month of February. It's actually happening from like February 7th through March 7th. So this may not apply to anyone else, but just for my purposes, and this is how I do it. I like to wait until the statement is completely done. They put out the credit card statement with the final number. There would always be like a few straggling little purchases here at the end of the month that weren't on the February statement. They would go on the March statement. And I used to stress myself out about it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it by statement period. I'm going to wait until the statement is done. They send out the final bill, and then that's how much I'm going to pay, instead of like trying to time it. If you use credit cards, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I like to budget according to the credit card statement. That was a long-winded way of saying all that. So now we have our weeklies. Now I know how much I'm going to spend every week. And then these are just some graphs. Right now, these pink bars are just the budget because there's no actual transactions yet. We will go and do that together. So then once I have my budgets done, I go over here. I start tracking all of our expenses in real time. You'll notice here there are these bars. There are 5 different checking accounts here. I don't use all of them. Actually, I use about 3, but for this purpose, I'm gonna hide them all because it all makes sense with just showing you one. So I have my bank account, and then I have my credit card transactions. I like to see both. I want to see exactly my checking account register. I want to know what's in my bank account at all times. So I will go in and I'll log into my bank app and I will plug in all the transactions there. And then what I even like to do, I will go in. So like, let's say today is the 17th. So like as I'm going through, if something is posted to this account, I will embolden it. And then that way I know this number is in my checking account. All of these figures are coming up, so I'll know, okay, I'll still have money in the bank, but they haven't happened yet. So I like to bold what has already happened. You don't have to do that, but this way I know exactly what my checking account is going to do. I like to have that kind of control. And also, you'll notice here, these are my credit cards. And so even though it's on my credit card, it hasn't come out of my bank account yet, I need to know that I have the cash flow to make that credit card payment, right? Because that's how you get those balances rolling over. I don't want that. I want to know that I have the cash to pay off all these credit cards at the end of the month. That is such a game changer. Over here on the credit card transactions, one thing before we start plugging in transactions to show you what I do, I have this shaded green area. These are my recurring monthly transactions that I know all the time are going to happen, the subscriptions. Granted, on my actual budget, this is a lot longer, but I have the expected dates that that's going to happen. These probably need to be February. I keep all this information the same. Say like Netflix happens on the 20th, then that'll be like pending. Spotify, maybe that happened on the 11th and it was posted. So let's do Disney. So if that happened on the 12th, let's hit posted. Keep your eye over here on this Chase card, okay? I'm gonna hit posted. Oh, it was an American Express card. So never mind, that was actually on the American Express card. So you notice like now that has been posted to the credit card, it needs to come out of my checking account. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go in and I'm gonna show you what I do. So I come to my computer. You can do this on your phone if you have Google Sheets on your phone. I do this on my laptop, on my phone, on my big computer, it just depends. I have a list here of fake transactions. So this is what I do. I get all cozy, I light a candle, I listen to a book. I pull up, let's say this is the Costco. I pull up my Costco card app. I just plug in all of the transactions that I made like in the past couple of days. And I just start typing in, and this is the Costco card. And I spent $66.33 and I just spent it. So I'm gonna do pending. And then we'll do on that same day, I also got food. So I'll do groceries, Costco, and $327.95. Okay, that's also pending. You'll see here, now I have this pending amount in the Costco card. In a couple days, I'll move it over and I'll go over here to posted. And the reason why I do that is because my current balance on my credit card app does not match. I'm like, where is this? It's because it's pending. So then that is a clue to me. I'm like, okay, this balance is gonna change. So it's just in the pending right now. So I'll move that over. Let's say that's posted. Okay, and then we'll start plugging in a little bit more. Okay, Amazon, and then this is where I really like to drill down even more. So like if I do Amazon, I did a lens guard for my camera. That way it's not just a bunch of Amazon transactions that nobody knows what it is. I like to drill down even more. That's a miscellaneous purchase, and then that went on the American Express, and that was $33.50. And it was already posted to the account. Let's do one more. So Starbucks. This was an eating out purchase, and this was also on the American Express. $10, and let's say that's pending. When it comes to our weekly budgets, this is what I do. I go in, I plug in all the transactions that we made, and then I'm like, okay, how much more money do I have this week? I go down here and I see, okay, I spent this much on groceries, I spent this much on fuel, this much eating out, this much miscellaneous. This is how much I can spend. Look, I went over on the groceries. So now, next week I would have had $250 to spend, but I went over this week, so I really only have $172 to spend. Okay, do you see how this is working? Same thing with fuel. Oh, I went over a little bit on fuel, which is not terrible. It's not to worry. I mean, I'm not like gonna go into debt this week, but next week, okay, I may need to spend a little less, or I need to up my gas budget. If I'm consistently going over budget, I maybe need to up that. Same thing with eating out. Now eating out, I only did $10. So this $65 is gonna roll over to week 2. And instead of just having $75 to spend, I'll have $140 to spend. And sometimes too, I'll get to the end of the month and I'm like, oh, we really didn't eat out that much. Then I'll move that leftover into savings or something. Or maybe we spent more on spending, but less on eating out, and it all kind of worked itself out. The big number is this right here. As long as this is positive, I'm good. But if that goes negative, that means I need to really like reel it in, right? So that's how I do that. And also these numbers, they are linked to the dates. So this week 1, so any of those purchases that happened between these 2 dates will show up in the actual item regardless of if they're pending or posted. Because even if it's pending, I still spent that money. So it needs to come out of my weekly budget. At the end of the month, when everything has all been posted to the credit card, the statement has come out, I will just go through and make sure that everything has posted, that this amount right here matches my credit card statement, and then it will come out of my checking account. I will do the bill pay, or actually most of them are auto paid now, and I'll just verify that like I have the cash flow to do all this. One more thing to note, because I'm editing this video and I think you might have noticed something. So when I talked about my credit card statement period being from February 7th through March 7th, well then how am I paying that at the end of February? I'm actually working 2 months ahead. So on March's budget, this is gonna get so confusing. On March's budget, I'm actually tracking credit card transactions from January 7th through February 7th, which are then due on March 2nd. Does that make sense? That's just what works for me. If that doesn't make you feel comfortable, you can totally just work within that same month and pay it off weekly, however you want to do it. I just found that this is what is most helpful for me. And then I have a backlog of cash flow so that I'm not spending money I don't have. I always have enough money in the bank. If for some reason we didn't get paid in February or March, if there's a government shutdown or something, then I'll always have the cash flow to do that. So if you saw those numbers and you're like, wait a second, that's why I do it that way. But you can totally set your dates to be February 1st through February 28th and pay off your card at the end of the month. I just do it differently. And that's it, friends. You guys made it through my budget video. Oh my gosh, this took me 3 years to put together for you. So hopefully it was helpful. If you want to just grab my template, again, I will have a link to it in the description. I hope it helps you. It has helped us so much. I think I perfected my overall method in like 2022, but then when we moved to Hawaii, it's so expensive here. So I made the switch from planning monthly to weekly. Total game changer. I don't know how I ever budgeted monthly before this. I don't know why. Weekly is just so much easier. If you're struggling with budget, maybe try doing weekly and see how you like it, because you never know. Maybe it'll be like the biggest game changer for you like it was for us. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next vlog. Hopefully it'll be a little crafty one, because like I talked about in my last video, I really missed being crafty. I did make 2 cute little tote bags for my daughters for Valentine's Day. Also, I did some 3D printing. Oh my gosh, I have so many little things I can share with you. All right, that'll be in the next video. I will see you next time. Bye.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in.